want to turn the camera back on for a second here, and I want to say one thing. You know, the news, the national media is showing a lot of the flood damage, and without a doubt, that is devastating. That took lives. That has destroyed homes. That is where most of the attention is going right now. That's where the government is paying the closest attention. That's where they're at. They're in Asheville, Irwin's one area. There's some other areas in North Carolina. You know, that's where they're spending a lot of their time and resources. But what we don't think about are these towns that are in the mountains that were as dramatically affected by the storm, although for a different reason. I mean, for this particular area, it was because the storm took out their water. The flood took out their water systems. The storm took out trees, which took out their power. And as you just saw in this video, took out a lot of trees along a long road. So, you know, there's, and that's as dangerous for some people as the flood waters were. So I don't want to forget these people that are in the mountains that are struggling to survive this storm also. So, and you won't see much of that in the news. You might see it on certain news channels, but you won't see it on the national news very much. And we want to make sure that we can do what we can do to help them. You know, I've always wanted to do something more than just give money, but sometimes that's all you can do. Sometimes all you can do is help donate to some cause or some group or some person who's trying to do something. And that's all we're asking for you to do, is to help enable us, give us the ability to get in here and get supplies, the right supplies, to an area. You know, we could have gone and grabbed, you know, 1,000 cases of water and driven it up there. But when I got up there, I asked what they needed. They said not water, because everybody's donating water. So they don't need diapers. You know, there are certain things that they have an abundance of. And we need to be mindful of the things they really do need. And so we're going to focus on that. We're going to try to make sure we get things like camp stoves, something to cook on, something that doesn't require electricity. We'd like to get some propane and the dual mode generators, propane and gas, because that could be helpful to some people who maybe don't want to deal with gas or don't have, you know, easy access to gasoline. So propane is a great way to do that. So I also did learn that in most cases now, they don't need large generators. They actually need some of the smaller ones, some of the 2,500 watt generators, because now they just need a generator that's going to keep a refrigerator on, maybe some lights, and, you know, and power, maybe a small electric stove if they wanted to use, you know, a small hot plate or something. So those are the kind of things that we need to focus on trying to get, and that's what we're going to work towards. We're basically getting ready to approach an area. It's called Scott's Farms, and they're basically a strawberry producer in this area. Their property, their farmland is all along the Nolichucky River, which is the river that's through here that did the majority of the flooding. It caused the most damage in this area. And out of, I may be wrong on the numbers here, I think it's either 600 or 900 acres. They have, let's go on the lower side. Let's say they have 600 acres. My understanding is they only have 30 or 60 acres remaining that they actually have crop left on. The rest of it was decimated by this flood. Now, that's strawberry for the next year, and then tomatoes that they were actually getting ready to harvest. So it's been devastating to some businesses here that provide local produce. And I don't even think we know yet what the repercussions of that are going to be until we start to miss those products, you know, in the spring, and we realize we don't have the strawberry crop that we would have had, or the tomato crop. So this is can be very devastating to this whole region just because of something like that. So we're actually coming up to the area where Scott's Farms has their store where they basically sell a lot of their product. This is not where their farmland is. Their farmland is a little bit further over towards Jonesboro a little bit, but that's the this is kind of the area that they sell and have a lot of their equipment. Now, one thing interesting is this is an area that I've ridden my motorcycle a lot. I ride through here because it's beautiful driving, curvy roads, twisty roads, and it's just a lot of fun. This is an area that we would normally be thinking about driving around and looking at the beautiful fall foliage, but that's just not important right now. As beautiful as it can be, that's hard to focus on, hard to think about when there are people that have in some cases lost everything. So let's enjoy what we can and feel blessed that maybe we were ones that were on the other side of this that didn't experience it. I was without water for 5 days, almost 6 days. Kind of made me angry because I was a little upset with our water utility for not getting water back as quick as they could have, quick as I thought they could have. But I came to the realization that my little lack of water is nothing compared to what many people, are thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even upwards of hundreds of thousands are suffering from. And I know you'll hear this on the news, and I know they've got great coverage of this on the news, but sometimes it's good to see this on the ground and see what's going on. And I'm going to try to get some get some footage, get some views of this from up close. It's kind of difficult to get near it in Irwin because there's so much recovery effort going on right now, and I do believe they are still looking for missing people. So we've got to kind of stay out of the way. But we're getting ready to drive into a little town called Unicoi, and I don't know if the numbers have changed, but the last time I saw, there were 4 that were killed in the flood here, and I think there's still 4 missing. And you don't even know what that's like until you're around it. You hear it on the news, you feel bad, but when you're driving through it, realizing that somebody likely lost their lives right here, when the floods came and took them away, they may have not even known about this, came so quickly for some people. This is an area that this does not happen in at this level. We do have a lot of lowlands. I'm driving through them right now, and they do have some flooding, but nothing like we've experienced. Right here on the left is Scott Farms. This is their building that they sell out of. So our prayers go out to them and their business, because I know it's important to the community. And they supply a lot of tomatoes to other areas, to grocery stores around the area. But anyway, you just don't. It really hits close to home when it's right here. And my wife's boss told me yesterday that they had some friends that they had actually forgotten that they lived here, lived in Unicoi, and he called them to find out how they were. They were okay, but some of their personal friends were some of the people that were killed in the flood. And it makes you want to go do something for them, even though it's too little too late maybe, but you really want to be able to help. We're getting ready to drive in to the main part of Unicoi where the stop sign is, and I don't know what the damage was here. I know that I was told the town was pretty devastated. I see a large presence of police and emergency vehicles, but I don't know what that means. All right, I'm going to stop talking.